Hi, okay, so my name is Kaitlyn Ruth, and today I will be discussing my overarching topic for this project, which was the influence of teen dramas on American culture, more specifically the impact of John Hughes on American culture and American teen life in the 1980s, 90s, and even into today. So, John Hughes was one of the most notable directors in the history of film and is most known for his impact on the 1980s and 1990s generation of teenagers, mainly because he appealed to a generation that was previously ignored and neglected in the media. Before Hughes, when teens were represented, they were shown as one-dimensional or stereotypical, and typically were only used as a pawn in the life of surrounding adults. However, with Hughes' impact through films such as 16 Candles, The Breakfast Club, and Pretty in Pink, American teenagers finally began to feel seen and accepted by the media and by society as a whole. So, as my first piece for Project 3, I created a dialogue script which I then acted out, which involved a discussion between two characters, Mary and Michael, and Mary's father, about whether or not Hughes films were appropriate. So, although Mary's father initially disagrees with the racy topics included in the film, Michael reassures him that although the films do include taboo subjects, they are honest and true to American life. I feel like transcribing this piece into an audio play will allow me to bring my audience back into the time period and allow them to understand both the context and the criticism of Hughes films. And then for my second piece, I'll make this big. I created a poster displaying the most popular films of the John Hughes era with quotes from sources like MTV and New York Times to show their impact on American society. I feel like providing this visual will allow my audience to gain a full understanding of the views that the films had on their viewers. This poster includes pictures, really nostalgic photos from many of the films that he produced and directed, including The Breakfast Club, 16 Candles, Pretty in Pink, and Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And I feel like providing this visual will allow my audience to gain a full understanding of the influence and the nostalgia that the films had on their viewers. Likely because there had never been any film that really portrays the honesty and the blunt truth that is American teen life. I feel like that's the main reason why these films were so influential. Hughes' films depicted three-dimensional characters with broad and ever-branching storylines, from the defiant bad boy to the newly 16-year-old good girl whose family and friends all forgot her birthday. These films empowered teenagers nationwide to be exactly who they wanted to be, even if that meant straying away from the societal norm, which was held at such a high standard in previous generations. And then finally, as my third part of Project 3, I made a poster that kind of talks about the negative aspects of these films. So for this project, or for this section, I kind of made it kind of comical. It's more of a propaganda poster against Hughes films. So we have quotes such as, Hughes promotes teen drinking and sexual promiscuity, and Hughes encourages cutting class, which is funny because that's what the whole premise of Ferris Bueller's Day Off is about. Hughes normalizes teen smoking, and he inspires teen rebellion. I feel like including these pictures that are just like from the movies, and then including these very grossly outdated topics and taboo subjects just makes it just represents like the older generation's version of proof of indecency. And I feel like it'll allow my audience to realize the extent of the distaste that older generations had for his films, and also the shameless quality of the criticisms received. I feel like including this poster with the criticism alongside the separate poster with an appreciation for the films will create enough antithesis to understand either side of the argument. What Hughes and other coming-of-age directors did was portray a realistic version of teen life in America, an idea that was so often torn down by the pressure and standards that modern media had created. However, because this was something new to previous generations, their distaste was somewhat expected. Again, thank you so much for watching. My name is Kaitlyn, and I hope you enjoy. Bye!